everyone. Welcome to the next episode of Book Talk. We have with us today Ashwini Sane. She is a traditionally published author of science fiction, fantasy, mythology books for young adults and children. She is a stay at home mom and army wife. She is a tennis freak and a life traveler who has been all over the world. We are going to talk to her today about her three books, namely, first is Nakshatra of Ethos and Abodes of Gods, and second and third are The Adventures of Little Kanya, Part 1 and 2. So let us talk to her and learn about her books. Welcome to the show, Ashwini.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Ashwini, I would like to start with your first book for young adults, that is The Nakshatra of Ethos and Abodes of Gods. So it
Yes.
is a mythological science fiction and it is exciting to read. Thank you very much for
Okay.
writing it.
Thank you so much for reading it. Yes.
So can you tell us why you chose this genre to, play around your thoughts or portray your thoughts?
I think the it was more that the genre chose me when I
Okay.
started writing
Mhm.
this book. It was during the COVID times, and you know how that was. It was in a very difficult dystopian type of an environment where you thought that the whole world is going to end. So, and since my husband is in the medical services, so we had a lot of cases and knowledge of the virus and how it was taking place. So it just came about ki, what happens if, everybody's using technology? What if the virus is coming through the technology? Then what would happen? So the idea came from that. And at the same time, in such an atmosphere where we had such drastic news, we were staying in Shimla, and the whole forest next to us started to burn. And it was, and so and all the animals started to come out, and so it's just a lot of incidents would happen, and so the idea came from there. And so the story also came into my mind because I had read two books, which was one was by Bal Gangadhar Tilak, The Arctic Home of the Vedas, and he spoke about the life, how it would be in the Vedas, of course, in the Arctic areas. Now it was in English, so I found it very, very intriguing that such people could have existed in such circumstances. So the idea came from there, and then long ago I had read The Chariots of the Gods by Eric von Däniken, and he spoke about how human beings were already evolved and how they went out of this world and the world got destroyed, and what are the evidences that are there. So it was basically a non-fiction book speculating on alien life, etc. And then of course then we have a mythology of Lord Shiva and the floating cities of Tripura. We have that made by Mayasura, and with one shot all the three cities get destroyed. So that whole concept, of course it's a metaphor, the three cities, but then I made it into three. And this concept of three floating cities is there in Greek mythology as well. So so all these things came about, and that's how the story started.
Okay. I mean, the background is really intriguing and it's interesting. Mhm. I found the
Okay.
characters in your book very interesting. So can you tell us more about them?
Oh yeah, there are a lot of characters in my books. Generally, there are a lot of characters, and they are of mixed, mixed beings as well as mixed culturally. So I imagined a world where, in the future, if the world gets destroyed and there is only ice everywhere, and some of the people leave the planet and go into these cities in the sky, what would happen to the people on Earth? So there would be a mixed lot of different cultures getting, so the names would also change. So and also in the sky cities the names would also change. They would be still in the past. So we have something like Mekasunaza. He's a king of one of the cities, and which is based on basically medieval times, and Egypt and all that. So they have to sound from that area. So he's half lion and half human. So these are genetically modified beings which are there. Then we have the main heroine who's called Nakshatra. She's called Nakshatra because she's come from the sky. She's from the sky cities originally. And of course, there's a story to it. So Nakshatra is basically all girls are called generally from a nakshatra. Like my own name is from Ashwin, so I was born on Ashwin Mehnat, so like that. So, and she's of course not 100% human. So that's a giveaway, but okay. And then lots of other, like the mother over there is a are typical the names. Some of the names like Nanurjuk, the brother like friend of the main heroine. Some of the names are from Inuit people of the Arctic area. So I've taken a lot from their culture and the name that they followed still in Sweden and in those cold areas. So the names are there, and then the habits also change. And the mothers have made them specifically like Jane Austen type mothers who are always, even though it's in dystopian time, they're worried about their daughter's marriage. And, so she goes to the skies and comes back home on earth, and then mother asks, have you found a boy for you? So, I've made it that way a little bit, tried to make it a little relatable.
Yeah, right. The names of your characters are different. Different means it's a new language altogether. So, is it the influence because you have traveled all over the world and seen a lot of languages, learned a lot of languages?
Yes, I have learned some languages, good enough to work in different countries. And yes, and I try to keep a neutral name to a character. So you cannot identify to a certain country or a place. Like there is this kind of a female priest who's called Shushruta Namkyo. So now Shushruta was a medical person, and she has that aspect in her that she's into this. And Namkyo comes from the Nichiren Buddhism, Nam-myo Renge-kyo. So I just mixed those two things together. So the association is there, but then you don't go directly to the Buddhism part of it. So it should just ring a bell. And there's so many sentences and different languages I've created over there, which are mix of, like Marathi, Sanskrit, and German, and French sounding language which is there. So and the names, of course, Duran I took because he's basically Duran was one of the character. He's a negative character, but I took that name because basically I remembered the pop group Duran Duran, and that is a European pop group called Duran Duran. So I just took that name. Okay, so let's just associate this person with that part of the world. So whoever is reading it will associate himself to that. Now there's another negative character called Krava. Now he is half, I think, a bird and half human. He looks more like a bird. So the Krava is like a crow's sound, like Krava. So the sound of the bird should be, the person should get it in the mind immediately what it means, even through the name. So that was the idea behind this.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. And I could relate to it, like Krava, especially.
Yeah.
Can you tell us the central theme of this book? Of course, without spoilers.
The central theme is, of course, ambition and trying to discover oneself, and human resilience against all odds, and the problems of technology and problems of human vanity. That is the main idea behind this book, of what not to do.
Yes, right. Okay. Why do you think mythology resonates with young adults and children?
Well, mythology is a part of every culture, and we have stories from the past which teaches a few lessons in life. The simplest story is like fiction and mythology tell you something in a fun way, something in which you will remember. Like in the Panchatantra stories, it has been explained in a very simple way that the crocodile is crying, so it's like crocodile tears, and there's a monkey on, all this way in which you identify. So it is, so you can relate these epics and stories in different layers, in different ways as well. Two families fight together, So the theme of ambition, the theme of love, the theme of mistakes, they all come into this. So, so they go hand in hand.
Yeah, right. Now, coming to the adventures of Kanya. So, you have written it in two parts, parts one and two. The adventures are aplenty and in far areas. So, how do you plot this in your mind?
Yes, now the story is for young children and it's on the lines of a Harry Potter. So the Adventures of Little Kanya is adventures because during that age you are adventurous when you are 7 or 8. And since I myself have traveled all over the world, I thought why not have this aspect in the stories, that the stories should not be just restricted to India. Now Indians are also all over the world, so the culture is also spread. So they all the Persia, Russia, and some other countries, and the culture and some of the things that have happened have been mentioned in a very fun way in this book. It is a series, it's a trilogy now. The third book is going to be published probably next year. So,
Okay, nice.
so, so, so you have to plot the series on the whole. The first book you have to plot in detail, and some stories, at least you should have at least 15 to 20 points in a story. Uh, Main points in which you can write 2000 words or so, you know and once that happens, then you link the second book and the third book, and then you have to, then some things will overlap between the three different books, and first, second, third, if it's there, then it will have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Just one book will have, and something extra so that people read back and forth. So you have to plan that way. Yes, you need to do a little bit of planning.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of planning.
Yes. Yeah, sometimes you forget, like,
So,
where did I hide that magic thing? So you have to yourself go back to the first book and say, oh yeah, it was over there. So, and then add it in the third part. So that is, and
yes.
then character development also, you have to show a little bit. If the child is growing up, then her powers will also increase. So how to show that and things like that.
How did you arrive at your characters speaking different languages?
Yes, since the stories will take place in different countries, but the base will be in India, of course. So they will speak, obviously, like, like if you say excusez-moi or bitteschön or things like that, people will say when you're speaking to each other. And I have interacted with a lot of, international people. So they speak English in a certain way, the way they speak their French, German, Russian. And they also make the same mistakes, and they have a sort of a tone of speaking English, so you have to understand and grab that and put those words inside. Like my friend from Russia, she says, uh, I in India. She gave me a message like that. So I in India, you have to know that this is I am now in India. You have to, so probably in Russian they just speak that much only. I go, you go, he go. They speak that way. You have dollar, like that. So you have to keep in mind how they would speak. Like if it's a German person or a French person, how the accent or mistakes where they will be. But you cannot do it too much in the in the book, because then the reader will not understand. He may not have learned Russian, French, and German. So you have to write the dialogue which sounds as if a Russian person is speaking English, like that. That is the main
Yeah,
idea. Or a
right.
German person. Yes.
Hmm. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of research is going into the writing process,
Yes. Yes.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes. Yes. I have to find out things. I ask my friends, like, is this the correct, like, like so forth. It's actually app so forth. But then the common people say so forth. They don't say app so forth. They just say so forth. So, and then, so a lot of things like Tanya is a short form of Tatiana. I didn't know that. I thought it was something else. So my father told me, no, it is Tanya. It's not Tati. While on the internet it says the short form of Tatiana is Tati, but it's not. It is Tanya. So this is what my father told me, and a lot of other things, small things.
Interesting. Yes. Lot
Yeah.
of cultural nuances, I think you
Yes.
must
Yes.
have
Like
to go
in
through.
Russian, the names of females always have to have a last name have to have an A, like Maria Sharapova. it cannot be Sharapov. Like in the those Marvel series, I think there is Natasha Romanoff, but it's not Romanoff. It is Romanova. It should be Romanova. So
Okay,
you have to
right.
keep that in mind.
All your protagonists are female characters. So tell us about it.
I think female is the whole energy of female is very strong, just like Shakti and the female divinity which is there. It is, always moving, always conscious, and it can be destructive. It is nurturing, and it is protective as well and loving. And I've had some very strong females in my own life. My mother, my grandmother, both my grandmothers, and some of the teachers that I had. So they were all females, and so I thought and I'm a female myself, so I relate more to that species. And generally, very few characters, books are there where only the females are there in numbers. So I thought, why not, write something which you can identify and understand also. So
Absolutely. Yes.
yeah,
And you have created a lot of chants.
yes.
So, what was that process? Please tell us.
Oh yeah, the chance is it's for the little children's book, The Adventures of Little Kanya. Now, first when I started writing that book, it was very serious, but then it started becoming funny, and so I thought the children like to sing songs and make names to the other child or something, and also since J.K. Rowling used expecto patronum, a chant like that, a command like that. So I said, why not? Why use Latin or English? Why not we use Sanskrit as a base and then add Hindi or Marathi or any other word? So I have things like, Dhvani Spotak, Asur Vinashak, things like that, small Sanskrit words, which you can Google and find out also ki what are there. The translation are there, or Chandra Prakasham, so there's a queen which turns on the light automatically, like a magical way. So she says Chandra Prakasham, and things like that, just to make it a little interesting for kids, since they
Right.
like to have this, some catchphrase in the characters. My father would know. He tells me, and he tells me so many. I forget, my grandparents were Sanskrit
Mhm.
scholars, and they went to Russia. So they used to tell me that there's a lot of, and they used to translate a lot of books. So they used to
Oh,
tell me that there's a lot of Sanskrit in it that they discovered over there. So that's
oh, okay.
very, yeah,
So
yeah,
I think the language influence is you're carrying the torch further.
yeah, yeah. You can say that. Yes.
A trip to Russia as well. So was it for this project of Tanya or was it for something else?
No, it was not for Kanya. Kanya came later. The first part was, which is takes place in India, was in India. Then I have some friends there, and my whole family has been to Russia, like my father and my grandparents. So I had to go to that country because there's so many cultural, similarities, and generally, something about Russia which I really wanted to go and see. Like my grandfather, he told me that in the Urals there is a community which speaks Russian, in which a lot of Sanskrit words in the Urals, the Ural area. So he found it easy to translate. So, and then he used to speak about the monuments and the mosaics and the food and the people and how friendly they are to Indians and all. So I had to go and see that
Okay.
country for myself. And
Okay.
then so I went into the stations over there, the people's palaces they're called, the special stations that I think Stalin created. And they're absolutely gorgeous. I've never seen such stations, underground stations, even in Europe. Worth seeing if you go to Russia. So,
I see.
so I took that idea, and then so that in the Moscow Mosaic, uh, that's how the idea for Moscow Mosaic came about. And so I went back and I wrote in the first book that then she goes to Russia. So,
Yeah, that's why your stories happen outside India.
yeah.
So maybe because you've traveled the world, maybe that is the reason.
Yes. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I've traveled the world, so I can write it well. So I can write it in the most descriptive and relatable way to others. Now everybody's traveling, and there's so many Indians all over the world. And for me, I think the Indian culture I'm not saying religion, is spread far and wide. Like they say, the coverage is from Syria to Indonesia. So that's what they're
Okay.
saying nowadays. So, and the problems are the same. So my point is this: the problems are the same and the struggles are the same. So whatever the magic weapon or whatever you have to fight, it's always about good and evil, and that can take place all over the world, not just in India or in America or in some different place. So that's why I've added the international aspect to it, that the problems that are there in the book, apart from the magic and fantasy, are for everybody. That's why I've not even named the gods as Indian or anything. I've changed the names of the gods also. I've flipped them around. So to make it more acceptable to others. So that is the main idea.
Right. I think you have globalized the whole theme of good and evil and everything that you have portrayed in that.
I tried. I tried to.
I wanted to ask about your
Yeah, my
grandparents.
grandparents they were the first people who went to Russia. So, who for translating books. I think the two books, but the Russian government said, ki, we will not publish your names, but you have to do it. And the name, so let me read, was Nina Potapova's books of 3 volumes, and Afanasy Nikitin. These are the two
Okay.
series that my grandfather has translated. And my grandmother, she went to the Russian university and she learned how to teach Russian to others. And first,
Okay.
my grandfather only was translating the books, and since she also knew Sanskrit, and they found out that it's very close to Sanskrit, she also then joined him in translation. And this was a time when there was a lot of friendship between India and Soviet Union, and the Raj Kapoor and all the movies were there, and I think she got a chance to meet Nargis ji also, and she wanted to wear a Nawari sari, and apparently my grandmother had taken a Nawari sari with her. So
Oh,
she have
nice.
so that is the story, and she helped her wrap that sari apparently. So that's the story. So yeah, the
Okay.
connection to
This
Russia
is
is
interesting. Yeah. Mhm. Russia is close to your heart. I know.
yes, it is. I feel it is.
Sure.
It is.
This was a great discussion, Ashwini, and I mean, I could understand where you're coming from when you are developing these characters and stories. Ashwini, I have read your science fiction mythology books. So, do you plan to write any other genres also, or you are happy in this space?
Well, I'm comfortable in this space, but I've never been the person who's stuck to one thing. So I tried something different all the time. So
Right.
yes, the next will be a romance, medieval fantasy action. So that is on the
Okay.
line. It will have magic also, but it will be more romantic and for adults. And I plan to write a sort of uh, and there will be a cyberpunk which might come up, futuristic one, but I'm
Okay.
kept it on the back burner. And I might write a memoir of myself, you can say, of the 4 or 5 years we spent in Islamabad in Pakistan. So I have some memories from that country as well, when my father was
Oh.
posted over there as a diplomat. So
Mhm.
maybe a memoir, but uske pehle you have to have some body of work for people to actually want to read about you. So so, so you're not a best famous you know film star or something. But then yes, it's interesting. So I might go into a autobiography, but yes, I will try romance fantasy next.
Okay, so that is a lot on the plate and diverse things. That's interesting.
Yes.
Yeah. So I wish you all the best for all your writings
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you
and
for having me.
hope to see the part 3 of Little Kanya very soon.
Definitely. I will send it across to you as soon as it's ready, ma'am.
Sure, sure. Thank you so much for joining and have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am, for having. You too have a good day.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me in conversation with Ashwini. See you in the next episode with a new author and a new book. Till then, have a good day. Bye bye.